Hello, folks. It's Ron here tonight. A little pre-show action going on here. Glad to see everybody's back from their Thanksgiving celebrations. I hope everyone had a good time over the Thanksgiving holidays. And of course, today is Cyber Monday when we get all our holiday shopping done, right? Yeah, all those great deals out there. Yeah, so guys will be here in a few minutes. I just want to, pop in early here. I'm sitting here anyways. I see Warren's out there, RJ Redding, Lou Drone Angels, DroneNation 8613, Old Farts with Drones, Recovery Drone, 214 WPG Drone Life, Drone Shots, USA Drone Flyer, Under the Drone, Skyfly Network. Um, and I think we got somebody else trying to come in here. Tanya Gale's in here with us. Let me got a big celebrity coming in the chat here. Here he is, all the way live from Meridian, Idaho. Is Marcus Crawford? We're live here. I'm running down some of the names of chat.
Yeah, you started early.
Our friend Tanya Gale's in here tonight in the chats.
Oh, nice. Hey, Tanya.
And I heard Tanya picked up that little what do you call it? That little 2 drone, Neo 2.
The Neo 2.
So we got Pixis photography in here.
I'll be right back, Ron.
5-4, go take your time. So that's it. I think I got everybody down here, and Marcus is muting there for a second. So yeah, it's it's been a good holiday. We saw a lot of good football games. Oh, I see another big celebrity coming in here in the back room here live from sunny Florida. Is Bill?
Sunny Florida. Hey, Ron.
How you doing tonight, Bill?
Good to be here. Boy, I can hardly wait for Steeler Nation tomorrow night.
Oh, it's going to be a rough show.
It's going to be a barn burner. You guys will not want to miss it.
It's trouble in paradise over there in Pittsburgh, right?
Oh, my gosh. Wow. I mean, you know what? I think the Tomlin Kool-Aid has run out, Ron. Even it's gone. It's gone after yesterday. Gone.
Wow.
Gone.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to talk about tomorrow night. And you have another big game coming up against the Ravens this weekend. And I believe you were tied with the Ravens for first place. And you got a new drone on the set tonight.
Oh yeah. I took it out for its second. Had it out for its second flight in the wind yesterday.
Oh wow,
that's coming up. So yeah.
Now, Bill, I was like, can you pull your anti-gravity drone up from down there too?
I got to keep that under wraps for now. So
well, I hope the Neo 2 is more reliable than my dryer. That was Costco. I just bought a new dryer. The last one we bought about 2.5 years ago, it's been repaired twice, and it finally just gave up the ghost. So,
what kind of dryer, Marcus?
It was a GE. GE. Yeah.
Yeah. See, we've been getting LG appliances, and we've had really good luck with them.
I got to tell you, the previous set we had was 20. Had it for 20 years, and I should have just repaired that one, but I bought a new set, and I knew when I first looked at them, this is a mistake. You could tell just by looking at them.
Well, we bought a Maytag. When the front load washers starting to get popular, my ex-wife and I, we bought that. That thing had more trouble from day one going on with that. I mean, it was bad news. But I'll tell you what, we've had really good luck with LG. We've had 2 sets of washers and dryers from them. They have been spot on. I mean, I am so ecstatic. And we got it through Best Buy. And we have the Best Buy Total Tech.
Oh, good
move. That makes a big difference. A big difference. Having that Total Tech, having problems, they're all taken care of. It's gold as far as
not everything can be as reliable as our DJI products.
That's right. Right.
Anyway, I got us off. We've been called Football Nation before. I didn't want to be Washer and Dryer Nation. Take it away, Ron.
Hey, look what Take Off said in the chat here from Brooke for the Bronx. He says things aren't built to last anymore.
They're not.
Planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence.
Unless it's DJI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bill, you get ready here. We actually have maybe some positive DJI news later on in the show here.
Yeah, I see that. That's encouraging.
Yeah. So
that's
hold on to your seat tonight here.
maybe
Bill Grace recommend a Speed Queen. I had a Speed Queen. Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah. We sold them with our old house. But okay, folks, we're going to start the show now. You're going to see DeMarco is missing tonight. I think he's coaching a basketball game tonight. So he will be in later once the game is finished. Mark, do you have an update?
No, you want me to pick?
Well, Bill, you want to make it? Marcus and Bill can make guest picks tonight.
I can make guest pick. Absolutely.
Let Bill pick. Let Bill pick.
Let's start the real show here. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
3, 2, and 1, and welcome into DroneNation for December 1st, 2029. The AntiGravity A1 Drone arrives this week, and we got it all right here for you tonight. So we're going to jump right into it. I have a DroneNation birthday of the week, but guess what? He's not here. It's DeMarco Moore. DeMarco's celebrating his 39th birthday or whatever, and he's not here. And also, Chris Hope, let me know in chat. It's Mel's birthday tonight. Also, Bill, what's Mel's channel's name? Did he change?
AGL 400.
400 AGL. Yeah.
400 AGL. Mel, it's his birthday thing. I don't know how old Mel is, but I believe he's over 21 now. I can safe to say, right? So
yeah.
So shout out to both those guys tonight for great birthdays. Now, DeMarco is not here for his fearless forecasting. He's been on it lately. He's got a whole bunch, right? He got last week's game, right, I think. And anyhow, so we're going to get Marcus and Bill are going to make their guest picks tonight. So let me set you guys up here. It's the New York Giants with a record of 2-10. That's not a very good record, Marcus. Two up, 10 down. Versus the New England Patriots with the opposite record, 10 wins, 2 losses. Now they're playing the game in New England, and the Pats are giving 7.5 points away at home now. How do you guys see this game here tonight?
45-3 New England.
So based on what you just said, Ron, and everybody knows I know nothing about football, but based on what Ron just said on their records, it's got to be the Patriots, right? It's got to be.
Let me tell you, I think that if Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, the Patriots are the top seed in the AFC right there. They're number one in the AFC, and the Giants. I don't know how low they are in the NFC, but they got to be in the bottom couple teams in the NFC, right?
The Patriots have the best head coach in football right now, Mike Vrabel, without a doubt. He's fantastic. Okay, he's a former Buckeye, former Steeler.
Man, Pittsburgh.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to talk about where a good landing place for Mike Tomlin goes once they boot him on his rear end tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Bill the Drone Review.
Yep, right after Bill the Drone Review shows over.
Right after the show.
Going to get into that.
We're going to get into let's go to the top show tonight right away, guys. Why? We're not going to mess around. We're not going to tease the folks tonight. We got a new drone arrival this weekend for the first time. We're kind of excited over drones, not DJI. Usually we always talk about the new DJI drone because they kind of made a splash a couple years ago, made some good drones. They kind of backed out of the consumer game. And we did talk about Potensic and some of the second tier drones, but this is the first real challenger DJI's got is going to compete at a high level at the same price point. So I talk about the AntiGravity A1 360 drone. We first saw it back in, I believe it was August. The influencers got their hands on it for like a couple weeks or a couple days, and they made some videos. But the drone, the software, everything wasn't finished in, so it was like a real prototype, whatever. But we do know a couple things here from that period of time. We know the drone is under 250 grams. You fly it with FPV goggles. It records 360 video via 2 different 180-degree cameras, one on one side, one on the other, and the software stitches them together to create a 360 image here. And Insta360, the famous company who basically pioneered the consumer 360 drone. They're providing the camera technology along with the software for this drone. And this unknown company, AntiGravity, is providing the drone technology. Now, that's kind of just a starter here. But here's kind of the unknown at this point. They set a January release date, and they just updated just at the end of last week that it's coming out on the 4th, right? It's like whatever Thursday's date is, 4th. And so it's going to beat the DJI product, the Avata 360, out the door. And the display, this is real because displays have been showing up at Best Buy. You can actually go to a lot of Best Buy stores, and they have a little display there with kind of like a little, hollowed out anti-gravity drone and stuff inside of a case or whatever. And employees are people that go into stores and ask people. Several people sent me photos, and they say when they ask the employees how much it's going to be, they're quoting them a price of $19.99. I don't mean $19.99. I mean a penny shy of $2,000 for this drone. But leaked pricing from Australian retailers show that the pricing to be much lower, even when converted over to US dollars. Basically, if you convert the Australian price, the base package, just the drone, battery, and controller go for a little over $1,000. There's another package where you get two batteries, and that's I don't know, that was like maybe $1,400. And then there's another package that has even worse stuff. It's like $1,700. So we're very confusing information on his pricing. And I believe, I'm going to turn over the guys here, I believe this product pricing is the key. I believe if this product is not priced correctly for its feature set, this drone could be dead in the water. And I'll go right to whoever wants to take it first. Bill, you want to take it first?
I'll just start because I've got just not much to say about it, because I'm not a 360 camera guy, so it would have to be a really cheap drone for me to buy it. I will just say that up front. But I'm going to say that the price point to me, if it truly is knocking on $2,000, man, they're going to struggle to sell very many of them. And again, I believe it to be more of a niche product. And that's really the only opinions I have. I don't know.
The 360 cameras, handheld 360 cameras, are definitely a niche product already. When you saw many of the preview videos back in August when the big influencers did anything impress you when you saw the early prototype?
So what I'll say, I watched a number of those videos, and some guys that are really good, like Potato Jet and so forth. He literally was taking it out and hovering it next to the action to get his best shots. So really, I think it's just a drone mostly that you're going to be just positioning someplace to get some kind of 360 shot rather than flying it. I could be wrong. We'll see what people that are more creative than me do with it as we go down the road. But once I watch that, and I'll add, Ron, and you know this, and Bill, you know this, I'm not big into goggles. So, it's just not a product for me. And so it's hard for me to even really have a fair opinion about it. And I'll leave it at that, and I'll let Bill.
Well, I'm kind of the same way. There's our birthday boy there.
Yeah, happy birthday, DeMarco.
Thank you.
How old are you, DeMarco? 25 finally?
29 again?
No, this is my last year in the 40s.
Oh.
Folks, we will be serving cake and ice cream. Out in the lobby after the show. So anybody attending the live show can go out. Just let them know if you want chocolate or vanilla.
Vanilla.
Absolutely.
Bill was right in the middle of his thoughts on the AntiGravity A1 drone.
I heard. I was listening. Yeah.
First thing I want to say is it's received all kind of awards and it hasn't even been released yet. Okay, so what they've done is AntiGravity has started the spin, on this. It's not even in nobody's hands. and it's won all these awards. I go, okay, so how can you win an award and people haven't even really had a chance to have their hands on it? Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to say.
Confusing.
And I'm going to kind of echo what Marcus said and what Koopy said. If this isn't priced right, it's going to sink faster than the Titanic. Okay, it'll be alongside of what was GoPro's drone, the Karma. Okay, it'll be right there. It'll fall to the bottom of the ocean. Okay, as far as that's concerned. And I think what they'll do is, I think they'll get a lot of people who are interested in probably a mini type drone, and they'll buy this. Okay. And say also too, they probably do the goggles thing, which I'm just like Marcus. I don't do goggles. Okay. That's just won't happen for me. Okay. Even if you do goggles and do that and can work the controllers and everything. Okay. The real kicker is going to come when it's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to download this off the SD card, slap it into Final Cut Pro or DaVinci, and it's ready to go. And then you realize, wait a minute, you got to run software to stitch this together and all this kind of stuff. And people are going to go, wait a minute, I thought this was like a DJI drone. I thought I could just get it off the SD card and slam it into my editor and it's good to go. No. People are going to they're going to be shocked, okay? And it's going to be more than the price shock. It's going to be like, how in the world do I get this to work? What do I do? And then they'll realize, okay, they get maybe a minute or so of video of flying, which will be really cool, but they'll probably have to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours to prepare it and stitch it and get it together. And they're like, everybody goes, well, like, what is happening here? Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is this. All right. This is being rushed to production. Okay. There's no question about it because they're in a foot race with DJI and they're going to beat DJI to the punch here. Okay. But DJI has already received FCC approval for the Avado 360, if that's what it's going to be called. And coming out of the gate, they're going to do it right. All right. Now, DJI had some missteps with their 360, and that's understandable. And I think they've corrected some of them. Still, the stitching and getting the software processed is still a cumbersome process. And that's why the 360 camera really kind of didn't take off for them. So I see this as more, I think it's going to end up being, unfortunately, a real bust for AntiGravity because I think the price point already is too high. They put out a bunch of press about something that nobody's handled and nobody's really seen. And when they had these preview events for Potato Jet and all the other ones out there, they only had this for maybe a few hours. It wasn't even days, and it was on site. They really couldn't do much with it. And understandable, it was even pre-beta kind of stuff, but still, like I said, I don't see this. And for the majority of the people that follow us, I don't see a lot of us getting a drone like that.
Hey, Bill, why didn't they start with a more conventional drone?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the same thing, Marcus. If they would have started out with like a Mini 5 Pro type of deal, all right, and maybe a sub 250 grams, have some nice bells and whistles and features on it, say obstacle avoidance and, night vision and things like that. That would be a great way to introduce themselves to the market. But here they're jumping out. They want to get the whole shebang all at once. They want to do it all at once here. And, the old saying, they've bitten off more than they can chew. And I think that's what it is here. I don't think, and I agree with Koopy, I think they've already priced themselves out of where this is going to be. I don't think it's going to sell real well. And I think it's going to be a culture shock for a lot of people who buy it, unaware of the fact that they have to do a lot of processing before they can even put it in their editor to be able to use it. So I agree with Marcus on that 100%.
Bill, let's dive into his pricing a little bit here. The rumors for months, weeks has been that the price point would start at $999, and that looks like what the Australian retailer who let slip pricing basically is what they're selling for there. Do you think this U.S. pricing of almost $2,000 is that jacked up because of tariffs or something like that? Why are we selling it for double what apparently the rest of the world is selling it for?
See, and that's a hard thing because we know what a lot of the base prices are for a lot of the DJI products. We even kind of extrapolated what it was for like the Mavic 4 Pro, the Mini 5 Pro. We kind of narrowed that down, and we had Jasper Ellens and Igor kind of helped us along the lines, and we got a good idea what the base price would have been. So we really don't know what the base price would be for the anti-gravity right now. I mean, we really don't have a benchmark to go by as far as that's concerned. So until we get that, we probably don't know. But, I was out on Best Buy site, and it looks like, it's just the basic package for that kind of price. And, they've been real sketchy in terms of the information that's come out. I mean, Jasper hasn't had anything out. Igor hasn't had anything out. So we really don't know what's in these packages.
Yeah. You're making like DJI drones. They've been keeping a lid on their information here, Bill.
Oh yeah. They buttoned up with this, and that's not the thing to do with something like this, because if anything, if you've learned from DJI, they're masters at marketing. Okay, and you know what? You let leaks out, okay, because it gets people excited. It gets some great talk going, and you sneak out some pictures and things, and people get really excited. Don't give me these crypto teasers with this what looks like digital computer code kind of stuff. I don't want to see that. I want to see some videos. I want to see some pictures of what it looks like.
I don't have a video. I don't have a picture chalked up the anti-gravity. But like Bill said, that thing's been all over social media. I think people that aren't even drone fans know what it looks like. They have marketed this thing into the ground or whatever in the TikToks and Instagrams and all over the place.
Oh, okay. So the little view thing that they got on the front of the goggles. Yeah. So you're flying this drone and you're in the goggles. You got about 10 people staring right about that far from your face. I don't know if that'd be any fun at all, right?
Now, Marcus, is that going to be useful? Is that just a gimmick?
Well, I don't know. It looks pretty gimmicky, but for people that don't know, what they're going to have is a little view screen on the front of the goggles, so that people around you can see what you're seeing in the goggles. But it's a little creepy to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. And that's a first. Nobody else has ever had that. So, Bill alluded to what they should do. I mean, it seems like they're trying to do things that have never been done before to differentiate themselves from DJI and the clones or whatever. Now that the fact that they're going to sell this drone in Best Buy, and there won't be any DJI drones to compete with them in Best Buy because they don't have any more, will that give them an advantage of somebody, Bill, that wants to walk into a big box retailer and buy the drone?
No, Ron. Well, Bill had said too, and I agree with you, Bill. How many people are going to walk in not knowing about this drone? Oh, I'll buy a drone, and get home, and it's way more than what they expected, and the time you have to spend on it. So like Bill was saying, like they should have came out with something a little bit more basic, and then added this later. But hey, I mean, like they will see. But if you think about it, going back in drones, like pretty much all the big drones, like the Mavic Pro came way before the Mini. Then they went back and started doing the cheaper drones. So maybe this is their plan. Maybe they're coming out with this more expensive, more. I'm sorry, Mars. Go. Yeah.
Well, I just was going to say, in the grand scheme of things, you just made a really good point. It's good that we have another, real manufacturer of drones, selling a quality product instead of some of the second tier stuff. So it's good news in that sense. But I hope, just like what Bill said, I hope that doesn't end up being another GoPro Karma, and they lose so much money on it. Insta360 then throws up their arms and says, "Oh no, we're never going to build another drone."
Never hopefully they can take the frame and put just a regular camera on it.
Yeah, possibly. Here's another thing. Marcus and I talked about this afternoon. Okay, if Best Buy is selling this thing for $1,999 or whatever, almost $2,000, but yet the real price is $999 in the rest of the world, what's going to prevent us from going to our good buddies over in South Korea and buying it from them at the real price and not paying the $1,000 markup that somehow is being slapped on it by Best
tariffs
Buy,
or whatever it is. Yeah.
tariffs or whatever it may be. I mean, poor Best Buy's going to be in bad shape. If we all ruin the community, we all know we can get stuff from South Korea. If we can get it $1,000 cheaper from South Korea, we're getting it from South Korea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I got to say this. After all the purchases I've made in South Korea lately on DJI stuff, they have my name up in lights in Seoul in South Korea right now. Buying from them out there. I'm number one customer. Bill, the drone reviewer.
Oh, okay, so Bill, I know you're kind of joking around, but can you imagine what a boon it is for some of those little companies in South Korea, in Japan? They are probably buying DJI drones by the flipping truckload.
Mm-hmm.
And can you imagine how many thousands they're selling?
Oh yeah, and you're right, Marcus, and they're getting them out the door. I mean, they're not. It's like a 2-day turnaround for that right now because of all the ones that I bought from them recently. And I'll give you an example of one that I just got. And listen to this. This is how well and how in tune they are. Okay, I'm going to give you guys an example. And I've already kind of shared this with Ron. Okay, I found him. It was brand new, wrapped in the plastic. A Mavic 3 Pro. Okay. Flymore combo with the DJI RC Pro controller, okay? And you'll never guess what. I paid $1,000 under what DJI had it advertised on retail from an eBay seller, okay? $1,000 under. I was like, I'm like, okay, this is too good to be true. The guy was legit. Got it. It got here. Boom. Open it up. There it is. These guys are all about throughput, and they're turn around and they get it out fast. And most of these really good reputable ones in South Korea and Japan, they'll send it FedEx, not DHL. They'll send it FedEx.
FedEx is the way to go, right?
And that's the way most of them do, because it's just like boom. It's like you no less than 2 days after paying for that, they're out. It's already out the door.
But the other thing that I'm sure that they're doing, so we're seeing some of these Amazon DJI resellers, and that I think they call it US Drone Supply or something, the one that we see on Facebook all the time. I'm telling you, they're buying from those same sources. They're going to one of those outfits in South Korea and said, okay, make me a deal on 50 of those or 100 of those or whatever. And they're buying them in mass and then reselling them on Amazon and Facebook Marketplace, etc.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, right now, okay, a lot of people like the DJI Action 6. All right. You go out to eBay right now, and it's kind of still ridiculous as far as the prices are concerned. But they have it out on Amazon, and it's at the retail price on Amazon. And I looked it up, and it really kind of looks like what Marcus said. I think it's a South Korean company that's doing that through Amazon. But the benefit you get when you find it something like this, you got to wait sometimes, because I know the ones out there aren't available until December 8th, according to the website, according to Amazon. But if you are patient enough and wait and get it, if you have any issues, it's Amazon. You can always just, goes right back, that kind of thing. So you don't have to deal with sending it back overseas. So yeah, these guys, Marcus really hit a good point here. These guys are doing really well, really well. I mean, it is a big business, and there's more of these places popping up every day, because the way you know that is you go out there and you do a search on a product and you take a look and see. A lot of these sellers will have well over under 100 feedbacks. Okay. The ones I won't even touch. Rarely will I look at one of those, maybe for props or something like that. But usually, have to have over 100 feedbacks for me to buy something significant like a battery or a drone. That's how I look at these sellers on eBay.
Do you expect to see a flood of anti-gravity drone reviews on Thursday from non-USA reviewers, Bill?
Yes, there'll be a lot. I think you'll see. I think you'll see a lot out there from probably more than likely from Europe. Some of our friends over there. Some of our friends from Southeast Asia will probably see them as well too. They'll be out. And like I said, and I think people are going to have a real culture shock when they find out. And like DeMarco said, I find this at Best Buy. This looks great. It's a drone. It's not DJI. This should be good. Okay, it's 360. Wow, that'll be cool. And then they get it home, and then they take the drone up. They shoot the film. Okay, what do I do now? Okay, and they're like, oh, I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to do this, and then oh yeah, and then by the way, you got to do that, and then 10, 15 steps later, oh, I can finally import it to Final Cut Pro now. I'm like,
Bill, one thing I can say is everybody who owns the Insta360 camera, the Insta makes non-360 cameras, but everybody owns X5, X4, X3. They already know how to do that, so those people can go out. The same niche that buys the regular 360 cameras, they can buy the drone and no learning curve. And the one thing a lot of unknown drone makers, we're worried about camera quality, but we know camera quality is going to be solid because Insta360 is, they're on top of the game as far as 360 video, not only from the hardware but the software side, apps, and so on. And so, if you're in that ecosystem, you should be able to just jump in with 2 feet, Bill, and get right up in the air. And I think, as far as outside the typical drone reviewers that get these drones, I think they're marketing these drones at the Instagram, TikTok vertical video crowd too. So a lot of those influencers, we don't know how this drone, because with 360 video, you know how we always talk about, oh, can it shoot vertical video? Can the thing turn or whatever? Well, with 360 video, there is no concern about vertical video, landscape video. You decide all that later in post. You don't have to make that decision all the time you're flying. You can say, oh, I'm going to make this one vertical. I'm going to make this one horizontal. It doesn't make any difference. You record the same way, because these 8K sensors, there's enough data in there that they get a 4K output either way. So, I mean, there are and the 360 editing software has come a long way, guys. You can hit a instant edit video, like a simple, I forget what they call it, easy edit. It's not called easy edit, but you can hit a button to have it edit the video for you. You may not like it, but it could be terrible. But it gets better every software update, the self-editing thing. So, and you can shoot these things they call single lens mode, where you can just take one lens and shoot with that and not have 360 video. Of course, why buy an expensive 360 camera and not use the 360? But you can do single lens.
Okay, I'm going to throw one more perspective out there. This may surprise us. In other words, the drone is introduced and we see some people, a few people buy it, and we start seeing actual real use cases. All we've seen so far is some of the big shot reviewers and so forth. But when we see people like Bill the Drone Reviewer flying it and putting up a video on there, you might change your mind, right? You might go, well, okay, I can see how that's useful, and you might want to do it.
I exactly agree with Marcus. This is a drone. This is something we've never seen before. We're going where no drone has ever gone before. It was 360 thing, and I'm not jumping on it. I'm not saying I'm going to get it. I'm not even saying 50-50 get it, but I'm going to keep an open mind when the videos come out on Thursday.
I got for DeMarco, when your kids are playing sports, you just take that drone, you just hover it out in the middle of the field, and you're going to catch everything. You're going to see every play. You're going to see everything.
How long is the battery life? Let me say that. That's that.
Yeah, I don't. Well, we don't. The problem is, DeMarco, we don't have any. We don't have. How we usually have our usual leak specs or whatever. We don't have any specs. We don't know anything more than we did in August or whatever. It's going to have 360 video. Probably going to be. I don't know if they said 8K. Maybe not even said. We don't know anything. We don't know flight time. We don't know range. We don't know speed. We don't know any camera specs outside of 360. We know nothing. We're Thursday. We will be amazed because they've done a great job in keeping all the leaks and rumors tight here. So that's unusual in our business.
There's a comment by Oren Schwartz that's really good. Don't forget, you have to have a strong computer to process the 360 files. They're heavy, and he's right.
He is correct. Or if you just have a recent phone, actually, I find the phone apps work better than the computer apps, unless you want to do that thing. We're trying to integrate 360 video into non-360 video. Then you will need a computer and various programs. But if you're just trying to the output all 360 video, you're not trying to mix it with anything else or whatever, just use a phone. If you have a late model phone, they're more than powerful enough to do it in the phone, Like if you have an iPhone, the last couple generations, or probably the last couple generations of the flagship Android phone, you'll be fine. Again, if you only want to do the video from the drone and not mix other stuff in. So, and I talked to Marcus. We're not going to do a launch party on Thursday because we've tried this on some other non-DJI products over the years, and they don't. They don't go in a timeline. There's no guarantee this thing's going to be. We're going to have the information at 8, 9 p.m. or Eastern Standard Time. It could come. You may not know the information until 3 in the day. So we're not going to sit there all day waiting for them to release information.
Man, Ron, you had me going there for a second. I thought you said lunch party, and I was getting kind of excited.
Well, that's probably when we should do the show, starting around lunch or whatever. That's probably a better chance of getting the info. But yeah, you just don't. You never know when this these things are going to release. If anything, we'd probably be better off coming back later in the day and doing some kind of a recap of what.
That would be the wise thing to do, because they might they really haven't posted a time out there. I looked. There's really no time that's listed. Yeah. I mean, it could be 9 o'clock in the morning. It could be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Who knows?
Many years ago, Bill, I think we sat here waiting to do a Hubsan launch party, and the drone, they didn't get the information out until like 5 o'clock our time instead of like in the morning. So
I think I was there for that. Yep, I remember that. Yeah. Yep.
So we're going to cool our heels waiting for this. So.
Okay, so if Hubsan launched another drone, would it be on anybody's radar even?
Well, that's like a guy goes into the forest and his wife yells for him, and does he even hear her? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's just nobody's gonna pay attention to that. Nobody.
Yeah, I didn't mean to change the subject, but it's funny how they went from being really fairly high up on our radar, something that we were interested in, and now they're just, you wouldn't walk across the street to see one.
Nope.
How about you, Marcus? Would you get it?
A Hubsan drone?
Yeah.
No, I would not. If they sent me one for a review, but other than that, and really kind of the same thing with FEMI. I've been burned so many times by FEMI that I won't buy another one of their drones. Never say never, of course. I mean, there could be extreme circumstances, but as it is, I don't think I would, because I've seen the same outcome so many times with both Hubsan and FEMI. They continue to have the same kind of issues, and so how many times do you have to hit me over the head with a 2x4?
Well, see, it's like, well, yeah, Koopy has a good comment about FEMI, but with FEMI, it's a hit or miss, okay? Because I remember I got the original FEMI Mini, and it worked for me, and I know the disaster that Marcus had with his, and it was just like, and then the ones that I had with the 2022, I'd go to a certain spot over the pond behind me, and it would just lose signal all the time there. They replaced it. The replacement unit, it did the same thing, and it's an exercise in futility. Okay, I tried their controllers, the TX10, the TX10A. Oh my gosh, what a natural disaster! The idea is great, but in practicality, it does not work well.
My cousin Dre's got a good point there.
You ever get chicken salad?
Doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Yeah.
Well, let's just hope AntiGravity is not the next Hubsan or whatever.
No, here's the thing, though. I suspect this is going to be a high quality product. This AntiGravity drone.
I think you're right, Marcus.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
When's the last high quality non-DJI product we've had? I mean, those hovers. The hover things are high quality selfie drones, but when's the last high quality? Not selfie drone. It's not DJI. I guess you go back to Autel with those two drones they released.
Yeah. You'd have to go back to them.
Yeah. And so, I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent, but I was just thinking about Autel that, I don't know about you guys. I get an email from them practically every day or every other day, trying to sell drones. And of course, now they're all commercial products. And it makes me think, why did they stop making consumer drones? I mean, we know there's a market out there for it, and you would think, what was their motivation? Is it just too much? Cost them too much customer service?
I mean, the problem
or?
is we don't know what their sales were in the last couple drones. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't as good as we thought they were.
There's more money. There's more money to be made in commercial drones. The profit margin is greater in those, and that's why Parrot flipped, and that's why Autel has flipped. Okay, but DJI is managed to, they're doing a juggling act, and they're doing it so well.
DJI sells so well in the consumer market that they just kind of took all the air out of the room. I mean, it seems like these other companies can challenge a little bit better when they spend more money at a higher end of the market, but nobody can see them out-engineer DJI at the low-cost end of the market.
So you just made a great point. This little drone right here, for everything it does, and we probably overpaid. Well, in fact, I know we overpaid them because we had to pay shipping from South Korea and all that. But are we ever going to see a product like this for $500 ever again once DJI exits the market? We're just not. It's not going to happen.
Marcus, I'm going to stop you. Forget the price point. If you had to give that up or give that hover air up, the 8K hover air, which one would you give up first?
Well, I'm going to give up that hover air 8K.
So this drone at any price beats the more expensive hover air.
Absolutely. Yeah, no question about it. Yeah, it's an amazing little piece. Hey, I'm going to add one thing though. I flew it today out at Kleiner Park, and I had a couple of gimbal issues with it. I mean, a couple of times the gimbal just flipped sideways and so forth. I don't know why. It immediately came back. But it was
I didn't have a gimbal issue, but one of the things I noticed on takeoff, it was kind of like this on takeoff. Okay, when when you hit the initial takeoff button, and when it was sitting there, it was like this. But then the gimbal looked fine. Like I looked on my FPV view, it was fine. I had no problems with that.
Was it windy, Bill?
It was windy, but I mean, it wasn't in the wind. Okay, it was just kind of tilted like this, and I couldn't figure out why. I mean, but then it got up to normal height and I was fine. I mean, the horizon wasn't tilted. Everything was fine. I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah. I'd be tempted to do an IMU calibration.
I'm probably going to do that. The other thing that I've noticed, and it's happened on all my flights, okay, it's taken a good 5 to 6 minutes to get enough satellites to get a good GPS lock on them. Yeah.
Wow,
sounds like you got a Mavic 3 there, Bill.
Yeah. I know, and it was shades of the Mavic 3, and I said that on my video I did yesterday. I mean, I was like, okay, all right, I'm sitting here. Okay, anytime now. I could power on all my other drones, and they'd have been ready, minutes ago. And I'm sitting here and just waiting, counting the seconds before I get enough satellites to be able to take off.
So, question, Bill, was it the first time you'd fired it up, or was this?
No, it was both times. Both times when I fired it up. Now, yesterday, I flew it in the wind, and it was about 15 to 20. Okay, it was pretty gusty, and I didn't take it up higher than 80 feet, but I was impressed. Okay, I kept getting the warning that said that I need to lower it, otherwise return to home won't work. But I did a loop around the complex over here, and it managed to do. I was pretty impressed in the winds and how stable the gimbal was. I was real impressed with that. I mean, this thing is just knocking my socks off. Okay. Even more, I love the other drones that I've gotten recently, but man, this thing is just fantastic. I'm just enjoying the daylights out of it.
Ditto.
A review. Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Hey, listen, we're gonna move on to the next story here because we're still like we get hung up on the first story forever. But before I do, DeMarco, a couple guys made some guest picks here, but we're gonna get your official pick of the New York Football Giants 2-10 versus the #1 New England Patriots at 10-2. 7.5 point favorites at home are the Patriots. What are you going with?
This week the Giants benched my Jameis Winston quarterback.
They did.
So I went against the Giants, and I'm picking the Patriots and I haven't looked at the game, so it's probably halftime by now. So,
well, all three of us have picked the Patriots then, DeMarco. So there you go.
So Tom Brady's happy someplace. But let's get into our big story now. This is from Pilot Institute, our good buddies over at Pilot Institute. This is kind of good news as far as the drone bans. The push to ban DJI in the U.S. is facing some unexpected resistance from within the Republican Party. According to the report from Politico, a provision to restrict DJI, which was included in the House version of the National Defense Authorization Act, was left out of the Senate's version. Senators from agriculture and energy states are raising major concerns. Senator John Bozeman, I hope I'm pronouncing the gentleman's name right, of Arkansas, pointed out they are the primary drone maker in the United States at a reasonable price. The technology is being used more and more. That's the crux of the problem. So anybody shout out John Bozeman. He sounds like the voice of reason down there in the Senate, Bill.
Well, and remember too, Arkansas is a big agricultural state. Okay,
that's what. Yep, I was saying here. Yep.
A lot of people, and DeMarco probably knows this. A lot of people don't know there are a lot of vineyards in Arkansas. I say this before I met Valerie. I dated a woman down in Fort Smith, so I'm real familiar with you're into Arkansas, DeMarco. It's kind of like the back of my hand. I even went to a game. Okay, I even saw the Razorbacks play. So.
Oh wow!
Woo pig suey or whatever that is. Okay, they do there. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Oh yeah. But no. Because it's a big agricultural state. Okay, nobody, and I mean the DJI has no challengers in the world, really, or very few, to their agricultural drones. Okay, we don't talk about them much, but they are. I mean. They pretty much have eliminated crop duster planes. Okay, what they can do is 100 times better than crop dusting planes, and there's nobody else in the world that really can do that. They have their software tailored that it is precise, it is accurate, it's incredible. Nobody can touch them as far as that's concerned. So I think that's one of the things that if we get something to bode well in our favor, I think it's going to be along those lines. I think it'll be, they'll kind of say, well, we're gonna look at these agriculture drones because really, truly, I mean, and not just Arkansas. I mean, you go out to like Nebraska and Iowa, and a lot of the states in the Midwest are big agricultural. Ohio, okay, they need these drones. Okay, there's no replacing these DJI drones. Do they have to go back and get 30-year-old crop dusters and have them come out again and spray imprecisely and get too much out on crops and stuff? Where it's precise with this, it's accurate. And it does a great job. I mean, they know how they can get a feel for how their crops are going and what kind of yield they can have. I mean, it's incredible the amount of information they can get from that. So yeah, I think that senator has really hit a good point here, especially from the agricultural part of it, because he's going to go after the other senators in the agricultural states and say, hey, look, I mean, we need this. Okay, this is something that we need.
DeMarco, you probably had some influence on that senator in Arkansas, his turnaround on that bill.
No. I didn't send my check this quarter. So. But no, Bill's right. I mean, it's huge farmland. Even my home state of Illinois is a big farm state, huge. So same thing there.
So I'm going to speak for our friend Ray, Recovery Drone. So what he has pointed out yesterday is that it's very likely posturing on the part of all these politicians. Bill, I mean, that bill, that 2025 Defense Authorization Act already passed. It's done. It's in the books. And those guys voted for it. And now they can go back and they can say, oh, well, look at this. We really weren't for this, knowing that they can't change it, knowing that there's nothing they can do about it. But then they can kind of backpedal and look good to their constituency.
They would be the first politician to have to admit that they didn't actually read the bill that they voted for.
Yeah.
Well, what they can do, and this is probably what I think that their goal and their aim is, what they're trying to do is to get one of the alphabet agencies to say, hey, the clock is ticking. Let's take a look at this and let's make a decision before it just becomes, it's like that process where a bill sits on a president's or a governor's desk and they don't do anything for 30 days and it automatically becomes law. It's the same kind of thing here with this NADA. If they don't do that inspection by December 23rd, then it becomes law. Well, that's what they're trying to circumvent. And I think if they can get one of the alphabet agencies to do one, I mean, it's going to be a rush because it's 23 days to do that. I mean, the clock is really ticking right now. Who knows? And that's the one thing that I want to say to everybody. Okay. None of the four of us know, and none of you out there know exactly what's going on. We have no idea all of what's going on. Okay. We can all posture, we can all say things, but you know what I'm doing is I'm going to be doing a video on this, preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. And in other words, wait till you see, I'm going to do a video. You're going to be shocked at all the stuff that I bought. Okay. You're going to be like, what did you do? Okay. But I'm preparing for this storm, guys. I'm preparing for like 4 or 5 years that we don't have access to.
We got a hurricane coming, Bill, right?
There's a hurricane coming. Okay. And I've got my water and bread.
It's just a tragedy because, like I said, we will never in the U.S. will never get our hands on another drone like this, and it's our loss. It's absolutely our loss. If there was some other viable competitor, and like we're talking about with the agricultural drones, evidently DJI is miles ahead on those. Yeah, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. There's nothing about it that makes sense. But I got to tell you, I'm going to miss the excitement of taking a drone like this out of the box and exploring all the amazing features. I wonder how many years it's going to be now before we are able to experience that again. Where will that, certainly the void will get filled probably at some point, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
Hey,
Marcus, you'll have to rebox some of those drones and just get them out and pretend they're new.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, I'll say this. It's a loss. But here's the thing. They are losing all these sales from the States. That's millions and millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
It will trickle down. Right now, it's not. But a couple of years from now, if they have 100, 200 engineers working on something, it's not going to be the same because they're not making that money anymore. So people will lose their jobs from this. Slowly. Yeah. It takes longer.
Yeah.
But 5 years from now, yes, they will, which means something that we would have got might not be there again, or less of it.
Good point.
And this is, and I can't emphasize this enough, guys. Okay. I'm kidding you not. I mean, you will not believe, and I'm gonna shoot a video of all that I've got, and I'm just talking about. I'm talking like props. I'm talking batteries. I'm talking. Guess what? I got a second drone of a drone I already have. Okay, because I got such a good deal on it. I also got a second RC Pro 2 because I got such a good deal on it. All right, I'm preparing for the worst here. Okay, I have got so much that I'm stored up. Okay. That I am going to be absolutely 100% okay when it hits.
I got a question for you, Bill. So, for instance, you bought a second RC Pro 2, and so I assume you're probably just going to keep it in the box and it'll be on the shelf till you're ready to use it at some point. What is the shelf life of that stuff? In other words, will the batteries deteriorate, etc., just sitting on the shelf?
Okay. Well, to your point, it's going to come out and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use it with another Air 3 that I bought. And I found a unbelievable Lycus makes. It's a one-off case. Okay. It's for an Air 3S and it's for the RC Pro 2 controller. There's a slot in there that fits. I found it on Amazon. Okay. It costs twice as much as their other cases, but I have that now. So, and I've gotten batteries, and what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be real smart. And I've asked ChatGPT to help me in Grok to come up with a battery charging schedule. And what I'm going to be doing is, one of my plans is, and you guys will see this in real live time, I'm going to be doing daily flights with different drones. Okay. And the whole reason I want to do that, okay, and these aren't going to be extensive flights. They probably won't be more than 10 or 15 minutes. But the idea is to condition the batteries, and I'm going to number each one of the batteries. I'm going to get my label maker out, and they're all going to have a certain number on them. All right. And I'm going to use a different drone each day, a different battery each day. And I'm going to repeat this cycle. I'm going to keep that going, because that is the best way that I know of to keep these batteries fresh, to keep them going, to keep them charged. Because if I let them sit there at 60, I don't want to be leaving these extra batteries that I got there at 60%. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be rotating them through every single day, all along the line. Okay. One day I may find the Neo out. One day it may be the Mavic 4 Pro. Another day it may be one of the Air 3Ss that I have. Another day it may be the Neo 2. I'm just going to keep rotating these things. Okay. Is how I'm going to be doing this.
Hey, Marcus, you got an offer from Lauren here. He said you can come up and fly his drones.
And by golly, Lauren, I appreciate that, and I'll take you up on it.
And Lauren's, you just a little side trip here. I don't know if people follow Lauren on Facebook. He had a pipe issue, or he had some flooding in his house, and they're starting to do the renovation of all the damage the water did. So it's come along pretty good. And when it's all finished and Lauren's studio is back, and then we're going to get him back on the DroneNation show here. So let's hope Lauren's renovation goes pretty quick here. Hey, moving on to the next story here. DJI's first 360 drone gets FCC approval. We're seeing leaks nonstop of the DJI Avata 360 drone. We talked about it last week. I don't have anything, new updates since last time we talked about it, but it does have the FCC approval here. Even with the U.S. drone ban looming, we still gets the approval. So that drone is rumored to be coming out before the 23rd of December. So of course that's why that anti-gravity drone is showing up this week, because it's probably key, and I agree with the people over there, is key to get their drone out first. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh yeah,
I think it's important. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because the DJI product looks more full featured. It will be, according to leaks and rumors, it will be a 360 drone, but will also be able to shoot like normal video. And it's also rumored that you could fly it without goggles, just with a standard controller. These are all leaks and rumors. But if it can do all this stuff, it's going to be almost like a little Neo, where it's a versatile drone, and that appeal could really help it if it's really well rounded, especially. If you don't really get the hang of 360 right away, you don't have to use it.
And that's an excellent thing that DJI did with this, Ron. If these rumors are true, that will be able to fly it like a normal drone, maybe not need goggles, maybe not have to do the 360 part of it. Okay, that would get somebody like me to say, hey, you know what? I would look at purchasing something like that, because it would be a step up. It would be like an upgrade from the Neo. Okay, as far as I'm concerned. And it would be more robust. I think more versatile. I think it would be better in the wind. It would have a better camera. It would have a lot of additional, probably obstacle avoidance, low light flying, all these capabilities in it, more time up in the air, better battery, better range, all that, So yeah, that would be on my radar. The big question is, okay, with the rush going on here, is this something that's going to come out before December 23rd? Okay. And I don't know.
That is a rumor that will be here before the 23rd.
Yeah. I think it will. And, and I hate to throw this in too, but the Pocket 4 will be here before the 23rd.
Yeah, that's our next story, Bill. We have the FCC.
I'm sorry to steal your thunder, Ron.
Hey, I'm going to go to Marcus here, because he famously said when the first DJI FPV drone came out, we'll call it the potato. I don't know if it was called anything else but the FPV drone. Marcus famously said right here in his show that he would get one if he could fly it with a normal controller. Right, Marcus? You were quoted here saying that. Okay, now it's time to pony up here. You said that quote. Now you may get an FPV drone that will fly with a standard controller.
Wow.
They listened. They listened, Marcus. The DJI engineer said, Marcus Crawford said he would buy it. So we're going to have to hold him to it because we're going to put one out that flies with a standard controller. So that would, if you were on the fence on something like this drone, and that would be a feature, would that be able to tip you over to getting it, Marcus?
Well, it would. So Ron and I had this conversation this afternoon. If they offered a controller with a nice bright screen on it, we already know they can build a 2,000 nit screen on a controller, and I could fly it with just a controller and FPV, or even just a screen and using the motion controller, that I didn't have to wear goggles, I'd be way more into it than I am right now. There's no question about it, and yeah, I think it'd be a great idea.
DeMarco, could this be something to interest you? A DJI drone that did 360 and non-360 and flies with goggles, not goggles? Would this be something that could perk your interest?
It would. It would. I mean, something that's can do it all. Yes. I'd like something like that. I know, like you had brought up the potato, and I think why that failed because it was too specialized. It was the regular person just couldn't pick it up and fly it. It was too difficult. Something like that with a regular controller should be good.
Now, did you see?
Let me ask you this question, DeMarco. Do you think they could do all this and keep the drone under 250 grams or 49 grams, however you want to say it?
Yes.
Wow. Because if they don't, if this is a over 250 gram drone, then that's one strike against it compared to the anti-gravity drone.
I bet. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, if they get a drone to do all that, it won't do all of that great. It's going to slip on something. It'll be average camera, average this, average that. Though it's not going to be all.
Well, did you see what DD Fellows posted? He said there's going to be a total of 6 packages for the 360.
The DJI.
The Avata 360. Yeah, he said there'll be like 6 packages. I believe him. That's probably if they're. Yeah. I fully believe that will be the case.
So I'll also say it's going to be more than 250 grams. I mean, all of their FPV drones so far have been I'm not counting things like the Neo, but the Avatas, I'll say, have been over the Avata line. They've all been over 250 grams. So I suspect this one will be too.
All right, here the Bill alluded to a little bit earlier. The Pocket 4 has also got FCC approval.
Shelly!
It is also rumored to be released before the 23rd of December. So we're gonna have a Pocket 4 and a DJI 360 possibly coming at us right before the holidays here. Now the rumors on this, again, they haven't really changed much. It's going to have 2 cameras on this time around. And that's probably going to be a bit of a price bump. We don't have even any leaks on pricing yet. But Bill, you talked about this earlier. Is this a product you're excited about?
I had the Pocket 3, and while I liked it, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of torn between how I use that and how I use like an Osmo Action kind of camera. Okay, because I'm holding the handle. All right, is what I'm doing. Okay. I know they call it a pocket, but it's not really truly meant to do that. All right. And I think the thing with that is I think the big appeal and the big draw for the Pocket 3 and the Pocket series is that rotating gimbal. Okay. And the way it works. And if you do it right, it does a really good job. But
because on the action cameras, that's all electronic image stabilization.
Right. It's all electronic image stabilization. Okay. For me, for the bang for my buck, I realized, for example, we went up to Ohio and I took the Pocket 3 and I had my Action, I think 4 at the time up there. And, I looked at the footage from both of them and, not to diss the Pocket 3, but I was really more impressed. And I found it much easier to use the Action 4 than the Pocket 3, and especially for tracking subjects like my granddaughters. Okay. That's why I take the cameras to record them, and sometimes they may move a little too fast for that gimbal to keep up from like the Pocket 3, but I had no problem, moving my Action 4 to get them in the shot. I would miss shots with the Pocket 3 that I would not miss with the Action 4. So that's why, I would be interested in it. If I was given a unit to review, I would take it. But I don't think I would be an early adopter of a Pocket 4. I would need to see some footage from it. And again, like I said, I'd rather, and seriously, between the two, I'd rather get an Action 6 than a Pocket 4, just because of what I know about them.
Ease of use, yeah.
Okay, so what you just described, Bill, is it's a use case situation.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy like Ron, the kind of things that he does with cameras, has way more use for that kind of a camera than what I do. It's a phenomenal piece of technology, but it depends on how you use it. And I'm the same way. I just want to turn on my little action camera, get in front of it, and do what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I mean, what I always say is when I'm filming myself, I like to use the action camera, whether it's the Action 5 Pro or the Insta360 Pro 8 Pro 2. When I'm filming myself, I like the action camera. But when I'm behind the camera, I'm filming something else. Then I kind of like the Pocket because I don't have to worry about all the things you have to worry about when you're kind of in front of the camera and holding it yourself or whatever. So, but I definitely understand both of you guys' point or whatever. But here's something funny. We love our gimbals in our drones, but when our but for our handheld cameras, we're not so concerned about the gimbals then.
Well, I'll make a comment there. I think electronic image stabilization, like in the modern action cameras, has gotten so good. In other words, Ron, if I had to go back to the say the GoPro Hero 4 or something like that, before they had EIS, that's when that Pocket style with the gimbal would be way more attractive. Yeah. And by the way, I want to make one more comment. I was just messing around on eBay the other day. You can still buy DJI refurb original Pocket 1s and so forth for not much over $100. And that is a screaming deal. I mean, I realize it's several generations back, but it took great video, and it's got a gimbal.
Yeah. DeMarco, any thoughts on the Pocket 4?
I mean, it's great to see though, but I don't get it. I mean, excuse me, I wouldn't buy it. I bought the Fimi Palm back in the day. It's still sitting over here, and I used it for a period of time, but I've moved past that from what I need though. But doing just a selfie shot, like you were saying, it's great. But kids sports and all that stuff, I can't use it anymore. So
yeah, I understand. Okay, moving on to another quick story here. Let me go to the little graphic here. Maybe I can even make it bigger here. Hey, the DJI Neo 2 drone adds firmware that has manual FPV control. So out of the box, you could fly the FPV with the goggles and the motion controller, but it couldn't do the full manual FPV mode. But now with this update version, firmware version 01.00.0400, you can fly it with the goggles and the the DJI FPV controller to get your full manual flying with the with the drone. So I mean, I don't fly manual FPV, but I know a lot of folks out there do.
Johnny Drone Flyer, he's been flying his Neo 2. Yeah,
and the Neo 1 had this ability to fly manual, so it's only kind of fair that they added this feature to the Neo 2. Bill, any thoughts on this update?
Well, that's not going to be for me because I don't use the goggles, but I think that's nice for those people who do enjoy using goggles and being able to fly in manual mode like Johnny does. I think that's great. But, for me, because I'm not a goggles person, it's really kind of irrelevant. But it's a nice feature. It's nice to be able to have. One of the other things I want to comment on the Neo 2, and it's the second flight that I had with it, and I'm using the RC2 controller. Okay, I'm not using the N3 controller with the phone, simply because, number one, it's available, and number two, it's so much easier because I'm not having to hook up the smartphone and all of that. But one of the things that I found real interesting, Ron, is when I got the Neo 2 out of the box, I wanted to pair it with the RC2 controller, okay? And it wasn't letting me do that. And the reason it wasn't letting me do that was I had to pair it first originally with the N3 controller, okay? And then after that, it was available. When I was flipping the screen, I would do that, and it said it was found. Before, it wasn't saying it was found because it needed to be registered. And the only way to really register that was with the N3 that it came with. So that was real interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, as far as you brought up controllers, and Marcus and I talked about this too. Why don't 04 products like, you know, the Neo 2, the Neo 1, and the Flip, why don't they have capabilities to work with the DJI RC Pro 2, which works with all the other 04 drones, such as the Mini 4 Pro, Mini 5 Pro, Mavic 4, Air 3S? Why do they exclude the little drones that are in 04 from working with the DJI RC Pro 2? It's not just an accident, because this is a trend now.
It's a head scratcher. I don't know, because you know, you would think, because if the thing that would jump out would be the technology. Well, it's the same transmission technology. So why isn't it there? I don't know. Maybe for some reason, you know, the 04 on the other drones uses different frequencies. I don't know. I'd have to look into detailed specs. That would be the only thing that I could guess, as far as, like, you know, from my ham radio background, why there may be that kind of a difference. It would have to be probably frequency based, because if it's the same transmission system, all right, that really, you know, it should pair with that. But there may be other software differences, so why it doesn't pair with that. But you know, frequency may jump out as far as that's concerned, and there may be other kind of firmware differences between the drones and OcuSync 4 and the RC Pro 2 that it wouldn't work. That's the only thing I could kind of surmise.
Plus, it may look goofy flying the littlest drone in the fleet with the biggest controller in the fleet, huh?
Oh yeah. I'm seriously, absolutely. Yeah. But you know
before
what?
Before we get off this update here, DeMarco, you have any thoughts about the Neo 2 getting full manual FPV software capabilities added to it?
I can't wait to see Marcus's videos.
Now, DeMarco, when you flew the Potato, did you fly any manual FPV, or were you just flying all whatever you call it, regular FPV?
99.9% of the time it was flown in it was standard mode. What it is, I tried manual mode one time, and it just I was all over the place doing everything. And like Johnny learned, I think with more time doing it and working on the sim, I probably could have gotten it though, but I just didn't put the time into it. It's difficult. It's really hard. Really hard. Marcus.
Nothing that I'm ever going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to be real bored to take the time to learn to fly the manual.
Yeah.
So I got one more graphic to put up here. Let's see if let me get the right one up here. Okay, here's our. Make sure you guys can see it. I don't know if you can make it any bigger or not. Here's our friend Igor. He posted a kind of a thing here. It's kind of baffling here. He said there isn't much time left before hunting season, and DJI keeps sending us gifts. And he covers things we haven't talked about before. It's a DJI Lito X1. That's Lito X1. A DJI Power 1000 Mini. I guess that's a small version of their power station. Of course, the Vive 360 we talked about. We talked about the Pocket 4 and then the RS5, handheld gimbal for big cameras. But what in the heck is the Lito X1?
I've got one right here.
Okay.
Same thing. I've heard rumors, and I don't know anything, but I've heard. It's no secret that there's a connection between Skyrover and DJI, and this little drone is kind of a hybrid between like the Mini 4K and the Mini 3. So I think it's going to be their DJI's next baseline drone. It will replace the Mini 4K. And they're going to call it the Lito X1, and it's going to be essentially the same drone as the Sky Rover S1.
That's a real good observation, Marcus. That's
Yeah.
really, really spot on.
And well, of course, we'd have to buy that from Korea, but you can buy the drone you have in your hand from Amazon, U.S. Amazon.
Well, and it's a great deal right now too. Yeah, you can get the Fly More kit for like $389, and this thing has obstacle avoidance. It's got tracking. It's got a ton of features that, say, for instance, the Mini 4K doesn't have, and it's got a little bit bigger sensor on the camera too. Oh, and it shoots in 60 frames per second, 4K 60.
Which the budget drones did not do before.
I hate to say this now, but you know what? I've gotten so used to having the RC Pro 2 and the RC2 controllers, okay, that when I have to use a phone to fly anymore, it's like, oh my gosh.
Great point, Bill. Great point. But how long do you think it's going to be before we see a Sky Rover all-in-one controller?
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't doubt that. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that for a second.
But Bill, these products are aimed at a budget market, right? And once you incorporate a control with the screen, you're no longer at a budget price.
True, but if you look like now at the Mini 4 Pro with the RC2 controller, you can get them for like $700 or $800 right now. I mean,
and tell that to Potensic too. They just came out with one for their little Atom too. So I think it's like everything else, Ron. The costs are coming down. That's what I'm saying.
Ask Grown Man that he goes on about $418. It's more to buy the controller than it is the drone bundle for Potensic Atom 2.
Yeah.
So
no, they have
just observation. Us guys have more sophisticated drones. The price point doesn't bother, but a beginner, a first drone or whatever. Yeah, I mean, again, they're more worried about the price than the screen.
I think you're right. Yeah, I agree.
In most cases or whatever.
But how about this, Ron? How about taking the tack that DJI does? They build a package for everybody so that it appeals to a wider audience.
Of course, these little companies, we'll call them the clone companies, they really don't have a full line of things like that anymore because, again, they're running a shoestring budget so far. Hey, I have the DroneNation deal today, but I did see this Amazon.com. They have the Mini 3, the Fly More combo, with the 3 batteries, and I believe a control over the screen. They have it on sale today, Cyber Monday sale, for like, is it $538 or whatever? It's you think about it. I know it's a high price, but we've been talking, but to get a control over the screen and 3 batteries and the Mini 3, it's still a pretty good value.
I saw that too. That is a steal, isn't it? Yeah, that's a great deal, and that is kind of exactly what Bill was saying earlier, Ron. I mean, I think they are kind of packaging them more. Yeah,
of course, that's older technology, so it's not fair to put that up against something new, whatever. That they're selling technology they've already made their money on, and like that RC1 controller, whatever. The first one with the screen we thought it was a good controller in the day, but in retrospect, now compared to the new controllers, it was pretty slow.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So again, it is older technology, but still better than using the phone, of course. And Bill, I'd say this Marcus a lot too. Bill, us people that are trying to do drone reviews, that screen is more important to us because we're trying to be the star of our own videos out in the sun. Where a typical drone flyer who's not trying to make a video, he'll just stay in the shade and fly, whatever, or in the car or whatever. He doesn't need to be in the middle of the video, so he can usually find cover.
Oh yeah. Well, what I'm finding I'm doing now.
Drone reviewers are trying to be the star of their own videos. We have to stand out in the middle of the sun.
Yeah. I want to be a star.
Well, you know what I do now? Okay, is I've gotten smart in my older age. Okay, and that's one thing, DeMarco. Don't look at getting older as a burden. Look on it; it's getting a blessing because you get smarter. Okay, and one of the things that I do now is I hook up my mic too, like right here. I put it right here. All right, and then instead of having to be near the phone, okay, I walk over to my truck. I open the door to my truck, and it's shade. and it's nice and it's comfortable. I can see the controller. I'm pointing in the right direction. I can see the drone, and I'm good. Okay. So, it's like, and then I got smart because where I'm flying, I park my truck in such a way that it creates a shadow between the rest of the parking spaces and a tree down there. Okay. So I'm almost all, depending upon the time of day I get there. So it's like, that's why I tell my wife I'm in a hurry to get up there. She said, why? I said, so I can have the shade. And she understands why. And she knows that. Okay. Because that's like golden, especially here in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm a shade flyer.
Half the people in our community are either sunset flyers or sunset or sunrise flyers. So those people, they don't worry so much about the sun and screen because they're still they're in a lot of shade when they're taking off and flying at least at the beginning of the flight.
Oh yeah, not for me. I'm usually out about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's just starting to become it'll become a real nuisance like after 10 or 11. Like if I get out after 11, forget it. It's too hot. I can't do it.
Yeah. But we're 10:15, but we come to the end of the list here. Before we get off here, I do want to say congrats to DeMarco and his Chicago Bears. I mean, they took on the Eagles on Black Friday on the Amazon game, and they really took care. I mean, they dominated the world champion Philadelphia Eagles in that game. So, Bill, even though the Steelers may not be looking too good lately, the Bears look like they have a Super Bowl run. Maybe.
You look who the number one team in the NFC is. It's the Chicago Bears.
Yes, because the Rams, the former number one teams, the Rams and the Eagles, have lost, and these Bears are impressive. I mean, they ran for like 280 some yards on the Eagles. DeMarco, this is the first time since Walter Payton and Matt Suey they have two different backs from run for over 100 years. And I do have to give credit to Swift. Swift is from Philadelphia. He went to St. Joseph Prep. And the running back, I can't pronounce the name. He's from Rutgers, which is, in New Jersey, right near me. I can't pronounce the kid's last name, but although they have both of them have a kind of a Philly Jersey connection there.
Yeah. Hey, I take this as long as I can because, you never know when the downsliders start coming. So, Bill, I feel your pain.
Okay, I can tell you this. Okay. The coach that Chicago hired, he's a gold mine. They need to sign him for forever, okay? Because he has done a 180 with this team. Seriously, though, he has gotten mileage out of these players and no other coach has, all right? And I got to say this, all right? Last night, I'm going to quote one stat, all right? The Buffalo Bills had more yards on the ground at Acrisure Stadium than any other team in the NFL ever had last night, okay?
We're going to talk about that tomorrow night too.
We're going to talk about that tomorrow night. And then how Mike Tomlin responded when they were chanting, and I have video of it. They were chanting in the stands, "Fire Tomlin" yesterday.
Oh,
yeah.
So anyways, folks, back to the drones here. I mean, closing thought. I mean, of course, again, we're going to have a lot more to say on the little anti-gravity drone on next week's shows. By that time, we will have seen the videos, the reviews. We'll know the final specs. We'll have a much more balanced opinion. We'll know the exact pricing, in the U.S. and the exact pricing on eBay also, which could be greatly different. The biggest controversy with this drone right now is the pricing. We got mixed signals on the pricing here, Yeah, and of course, we're waiting for the DJI products to come, Pocket 4, Avata 3, I think that's it or whatever. Those products Igor just leaked here, but, we still don't know dates on it. Somebody said the Pocket 4 could be out any day or whatever. That's ready to go. They just needed that.
It'll probably happen, yeah.
So, and of course, DJI is not as shy about releasing non-drone products or whatever, even though it seems like the proposed ban will hit all the products, but they don't seem to be shy about putting the camera products out. And the Bill, you mentioned the Action 6 earlier. I mean, if you watch review after review, I mean, more than half of the reviews say that on just image quality alone is no better than the 5 Pro. It's just that you get that, that adjustable aperture on it.
And the low light.
That's a revolution. Yeah. But nobody really showed, people talk about it, but nobody, in side-by-side comparison, nobody shows that it makes it look any better. But,
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I got mine on order. I'm waiting for it on Amazon right now. So we'll see what goes on with that. So,
and I've even seen people do side-by-side tests with the Ace Pro 2, which is instant 360 camera from last year at this time, and lots of scenarios, last year's camera looks better because that was 8K, and the Action 6 has, they call that open gate, where you don't have to pick. You could do landscape or portrait after the fact. Well, of course, that Ace Pro 2 had that last year. They call it something else or whatever, but as that's not new technology. Actually, GoPro invented that 3 or 4 years ago. So that's nothing new, but it's nice that they added it. So, but yeah, hey, go around room. Any thoughts, Marcus? You have any drone thoughts for the week? Just a quick recap of you had a little drone story to tell from your adventures to Vegas this past weekend to visit your family.
Yeah. So I flew a couple drones. Flew out at my sister's house in Golden Hour, but and then flew out at the 7 Magic Mountains in Las Vegas. And go ahead, Ron.
This is the little Neo 2.
Yeah, with the little Neo 2. And what I was going to say is it's amazing how well you can fly it so many different ways. It's so versatile. It makes it great for travel like that. Plus, it's so compact. The other story I wanted to tell was the loss of my gimbal cover. My gimbal cover is gone from my Neo 2. My friend Johnny Drone Flyer is coming to the rescue. He's a 3D printer guy, and he printed one. He's sending it to me, which will be welcome. But I was out at the Snake River Canyon. And by the way, I flew that little drone at 130 meters negative altitude down into the canyon, the little Neo 2, and it did it like a champ. Flying full throttle the whole time, you get about 8 minutes out of a battery. But what happened is, on the back of my pickup on the tonneau cover, I have some mirror sunglasses. I set my mirrored sunglasses and that gimbal cover right together. There's a ton of ravens out there at the canyon, tons of ravens. So evidently, while I was out standing on the canyon edge, looking down at my drone, one of those ravens took both my sunglasses and that gimbal cover. Now the sunglasses I found, evidently they must have been too heavy or whatever. It dropped them, and I'm walking back to my pickup, and I see them sitting there about 30 feet behind my truck, and I'm going, well, God, what's that? And you always thought, well, maybe I put them in my pocket and they fell out or something, right? But I went back and looked at the footage with the drone when it took off. You can see them both sitting there on the back of my pickup.
Oh my God.
When the drone comes back to land, they're both gone. So I also happen to have my action camera sitting on the back of my truck running. However, it wasn't pointed in the right direction. But the audio, you could hear the wings flapping and all.
Oh my God.
as it stole that stuff. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking through it. I thought it was kind of amusing.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And DeMarco, you had some travel adventures this weekend also, didn't you? You went back to Chicago.
Yes. We went to Chicago and then to Michigan for Thanksgiving. We spent it with Auntie and a couple hours with Shell's family. We were scheduled to come back on Saturday, but the huge storm that was rolling through was scheduled to hit like early Saturday morning around 3 o'clock. So we actually left Friday morning and made it back Friday evening, and it was quite a drive, but we made it safely, and the kids are fine. I know it's snowing here now, though, but it's not sticking to the ground. So
but you got ahead of everybody.
Yeah, it's good. No ravens.
No drone flying.
No. I didn't take a drone with me. Didn't have time.
We've heard about people have problems with birds and drones, but yeah.
Well, here quickly. About a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was walking back to our shed, and there was a hawk sitting on our back fence. I have a picture of it. I'll send it to you later, though. But it's huge. It was sitting there. It didn't bother me. I didn't bother it. So gigantic animals.
They're out there.
Yeah. So anyway.
Bill, how about you? Have any Thanksgiving stories to tell?
Well, here's my story, and I'm sticking to this. We had a pre-Thanksgiving, and Valerie's sister came down for the week from North Carolina and had the entire family over. She rented a big Airbnb near us, and had all but two of her siblings were there. So it's kind of like a pre-Thanksgiving kind of thing. But there were people there I hadn't seen for over 10 years, okay, which was fantastic. So for Thursday, Valerie's daughter wasn't available. Her husband works a late shift, and it just wouldn't be cooperative. So we decided, instead of going out and getting a turkey and getting all the trimmings and everything, we have a sports bar called Glory Days, and we both had a turkey meal. It was $17 a piece. I'm telling you, it was so well done, because it could be a hit or miss at some of these places, because, they're famous for burgers and wings and things like that. Well, they just nailed it. I mean, it was fantastic. And we paid $17 a piece for our plates, and we had leftovers to take home, okay? And the big thing about that is we didn't have gargantuan amounts of stuffing and mashed potatoes and turkey and gravy and all that to try to pawn off on people as they were leaving. So didn't have to worry about any of that, which was real nice. So yeah, that went real well. That was real laid back. Of course, being in retail, as DeMarco knows, guess what? If you don't take Friday off, okay, you have to work. So there I am, burning the midnight oil for the great grocery store giant Publix. But as far as the channel is concerned, we're going to kind of continue this conversation we had tonight, tomorrow night on Rotor Talk, and I want you all to be real prepared for a special episode on December 23rd, because we're going to, obviously, it's a Tuesday, and we're going to talk about what transpired that day, and it's going to be wall-to-wall coverage. Going to try to have some special guests come in. We're going to have a good time on that, so stay tuned for that, and continue doing what guys are doing. I want to thank everybody in the chat tonight, everybody that's been in the chat on Rotor Talk as well. You guys have been knocking it out of the park with your questions and your comments and everything. Keep them coming, okay? You guys are doing a fantastic job, and you're supporting us as well, too. We can't thank you guys enough, seriously, okay? I mean, I know we just had our Thanksgiving here in the United States, but my message of Thanksgiving is to all of you guys. You watch us, you comment on us, you like our videos. That's all we can ask for, okay? And you're here in the chat, you're offering great questions and comments. We can't thank you guys enough. But see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Ron and I will be bringing you all the latest on everything.
And maybe we'll have more leaks and rumors on the anti-gravity drone by then. You never know.
Yes, and then at 9 o'clock, okay, or about 5 to 9, you need to join us for DroneNation, because it's going to be a doozy. I guarantee it.
And I just had a kind of a normal Thanksgiving. We spent it with Susan's family. Well, I never left the state of New Jersey. I didn't have any bad weather. Just had a good time with family and friends, watched some football, kind of day I like, whatever. But Friday morning, my friend Jay from Florida was back for a couple of days, and we did a Jay and Ron's photo walk out of the train station. Not far from the shore, whatever. They run a holiday train in the wintertime now. It wasn't run the day we went out, and wind was gusting like crazy that day. So no, I didn't take any drone footage, but I got some nice shots out there with our real old fashioned professional cameras. So that's always enjoyable. But that's it. I'm gonna let the folks go. It's almost 10:30 here. Anybody wants to see the end of the football game? The Giants are coming back a little bit. It's 30-15 now. The Giants just scored. It's almost a whole fourth quarter, so you never know. And we see some strange end of games lately. I watched a game last night. The Washington Redskins, who are almost as bad as the Giants, they played Denver, who Denver's one of the top seeds. That game went all the way down to overtime or whatever. And then the only reason the Redskins lost because they went for a 2-pointer and didn't get it. And so I mean, it doesn't matter, good team, bad team. It doesn't mean it can't be a great ball game. So, it's that kind of season. So anyhow, again, I think Johnny and Ray have a show this week, don't they, on Wednesday? I think it's Johnny's week. So don't forget Fly for Fun show Wednesday, and then I'm not sure if Bill Thomas is back this week or not. I have to talk to him. And then, of course, Ray has his show on Thursday, Soul's show on Thursday. So, busy week as always here. And I guess Bob Dempsey, I think, did a show last week, Wednesday afternoon. I know he's busy being Santa Claus this time of year, but I think he did a show last year. So there's still a lot going on in the community. And so again, I want to thank everybody who joined us. That's good group of people and a lot of good comments. Sorry I couldn't highlight as much comments as I usually do. We were really talking intensely for a couple seconds here, but I thank everybody out there. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And if you want to know more about that anti-gravity drone, if it comes out and is worth talking about, maybe we'll pop up a show somewhere or another on Thursday and talk about if it's anything worth discussing. So we'll see you tomorrow night on Bill's show, and we'll see you back here Monday night. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.
End the stream.